Good afternoon. We'll wait 2 minutes, inshallah, and we will start our meeting.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum assalam. Hala. Drive safely, Najiba. Sugin?
No, I'm not driving. I'm sitting in the car.
Okay.
Actually, I'm in business trip to our colleagues in Qatar.
حلو يعطيكم العافية.
Hi everyone.
Hala. Hello. Natalie?
Yes, I'm not sure if you can see me. I had a technical issue with the camera.
Yes, I can see you.
Oh, perfect. Unfortunately, I can't see you all, but happy to be here.
It's okay. Thank you so much for your participation.
Our pleasure.
1 minute and I will start, inshallah. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Abu Dhabi Sustainability Group, members and partners, good afternoon. It's my honor to welcome everyone to our second members meeting 2024. It's a pleasure to meet you all and to welcome new participants and partners who are joining us today. As we gather for this exclusive members meeting, which serves as an important platform for us to learn about our organization efforts on sustainability management and initiatives. We are thrilled to share with you our key updates and plans since our last meeting in January. And as part of our agenda today, we are glad to share with you key updates on ADSG operational activities and plans, and this will include an important update on the newly established advisory committee and other events. And in the other part of the agenda, which focus on the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Group membership, we would like to share with you our recent outcomes of ADSG members and stakeholders engagement survey. And we greatly appreciate the feedback and thoughts on how we can continue to improve our activities. And finally, we are honored to have a sustainability update and participation from our members, Abu Dhabi National Exhibition Center, ADNEC, ARAMEX, Cleveland Clinic, Abu Dhabi Department of Culture and Tourism, Nawah, and TAQA. Your dedication and commitment to sustainability continue to inspire us all. And I want to extend a thank you to all members who have generously made this time and support to share the sustainability updates. Your insights and experience are invaluable in shaping our collective understanding and driving meaningful impact. And as Abu Dhabi Sustainability Group is dedicated to supporting the UAE sustainability commitments through knowledge sharing and stakeholder engagement and collaboration towards achieving sustainable development goals and drive progress in addressing sustainability issues. Also, I would like to share with you a key highlights about upcoming events during the next months, and also early quarter of inshallah 2025 next year. And that will include some of the communication that you already received about participation at our sustainability journals. In addition, some background about the flagships that we would like to develop through the years. And more, you will hear more about this plans in the presentation today, inshallah. And today, we are thrilled to announce a significant milestone in our journey towards fostering sustainability management in Abu Dhabi, the establishment of ADSG Advisory Committee, and which has officially launched recently, and it's joining the committee are prominent figures from 6 leading organizations. Their diverse expertise and proactive approach to integrating sustainability into their respective sector will make our initiatives more impactful. And on behalf of you, I would like to introduce the committee, and inshallah after this meeting also we will share links about the committee members bio, so to learn more about them. And also I would like to mention the key purpose of this committee is to provide strategic guidance for ADSG, especially. We will start next year, inshallah, our strategy update for the next 5 years, and that will help to enhance our sustainability initiatives and support and coordinate and overarching mission to champion sustainability in Abu Dhabi. And the committee also, as I mentioned, responsibility is to provide advice on AD strategic direction, assist in implementing programs and events that also you will, of course, notice through the presentation today. We would like to increase the engagement through this advisory committee too, and with you, all the members and also the partners. And the next slide, please. I just want also to highlight that the committee duration is, inshallah, 1 year, and we'll start our first meeting in June 26th. And please save these dates. And if you are also interested to join as observer, we welcome members to join us, and also to because we are planning to share with you after each meeting the meeting outcomes, activities that also we will develop it together to share it with you for your also contribution. And also I'm honored to have one of the advisory committee joining us today to share his introduction and role in the committee. I would like to welcome Shargil Bashir, the Chief Sustainability Officer from First Bank Abu Dhabi, to join me to share his thoughts and role in the committee with you.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction. And again, let me start by congratulating the leadership of ADSG to setting up the advisory committee. I think ADSG has for many years now leading the topic of sustainability within Abu Dhabi, even before it became as mainstream as we have seen it becoming over the past 5 years. And I think by setting up the advisory committee and welcoming ideas from all the different stakeholders, we can only enhance the work further. And how is it that we, from all the different industries and backgrounds, can contribute to enhance the topic? We all know that the task ahead of us is significant and very big. We need to raise awareness. We need to support the policymakers. We need to ensure implementation across multiple industries in order to support on the transition that is needed and the vision the leadership of UAE has established. So I truly welcome this initiative, and I hope for a lot of engagement from all the members to provide ideas, to share their input as well. And of course, bringing with our diverse background on the committee different ideas and different initiatives that we can support with, implement with. I see ourselves being an advanced ambassador within the committee, that how is it that we can take forward the ideas, and how is it that we can make the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Group even stronger and even more vocal as well, and support from that perspective. I really look forward to it. I look forward to the next 12 months. What is it that we will be able to achieve together?
Thank you so much, Shargil, and everyone. And as I mentioned, we welcome you, the members, to attend this meetings, and also, of course, to the successful of the committee, it will depends on your participation and engagement. And second part of also today agenda, we would like to share in more details our activities, and I would like for that to introduce also here Sandra, who also helping us on the content development and initiatives within the ADSG. Over to you, Sandra.
Thank you very much, Huda, for the warm welcome and introduction. It will be a difficult act to follow, Shargil. Thank you so much for the wonderful words you've said and for your commitment. And for all of you for joining our meeting, our members meeting. One of the things that I want to pick up from that Shargil mentioned was the importance of members' engagement and the importance of making the ADSG a bit more vocal and more heard. So that, I think, will be a very welcome update from the advisory committee meeting. And I know we will hear more from my colleague Mariam later, who will talk about the findings of the survey, where she will share some of the things that you told us when you answered the survey. So without further ado, I'm here to talk to you about some of the activities and the engagement that we are planning for the next 18 months or so, for which we will need your support, for which we will need your engagement, and we need you to be part of it, because it will only succeed if you're there. We're also relying on you to help us to reach out to your networks as well, to do what Shargil said, to make the outreach of the ADSG more powerful, because it is a collaboration and it is a voluntary collaboration from Abu Dhabi entities and more widely with our stakeholders. And as Huda said, it's a privilege for me to be part of the first advisory committee of the ADSG. I very much look forward to working hard to make it all as successful as possible with your support and your engagement. So talking about our upcoming events, I think we need to highlight the fact that everybody knows our economies globally rely and are embedded within nature. So everything we do should try to protect nature, biodiversity, and aim towards net zero to mitigate and prevent nature loss and climate damages to our planet for our life support. With that in mind, we need to work together to reverse that and to work more decisively towards net zero. The challenges are that we're not successfully maybe addressing the global issues of nature loss, climate change, and rising inequality because of the way the economic system might be structured at the moment. So there's a much wider discussion that needs to take place which is why it's so important to have the multi-sector approach that the ADSG has, so that we can look at the impact and our dependency on nature, people, and society to make it all cohesively work together. So the 2024 and 25 in the next slide events that we have is we're looking at a number of really key high-profile events that we aim to work with you to bring to life. In 2024, we're looking at the advisory committee formation, which we've already sort of established now. We're looking at launching the Natural Social Human Capitals for Business approach, which is the flagship program of the ADSG. I'll talk a little bit more about that. I'll do a bit more of a deep dive. We've also got a webinar coming up and a whole bunch of outputs, including the outputs from the survey that you all, and thank you so much for participating in that. The first meeting of the advisory committee will take place, and so on. But you have a timeline here, and I believe those slides are going to be shared with you, so you can look at the timeline in more detail, and I'll leave that with you. So for 24 and 25, that's kind of the plan that we have. Moving on from the timeline, I'd really like to look at a really exciting event. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I'm so excited. We are seeking solutions for a more sustainable future for humanity, aren't we? And for our planet. And for that, we rely on thinking, right? And there's a convergent style of thinking, which focuses on reaching one well-defined solution to a problem. But then there's also divergent thinking, which involves the creative approach of finding multiple solutions for the same problem. And so it gives me great delight to share with you the dates and the theme for the upcoming Abu Dhabi Sustainable Business Leadership Forum 2025, where artificial intelligence has been proven to offer a high level of creativity when it comes to divergent thinking. So not only that, but artificial intelligence has also emerged as a powerful tool to offer unprecedented levels of analysis of data, optimization and efficiency of processes, as well as creating intelligent solutions for complex problems. These are tools that organizations can greatly benefit for. So I've given you that preamble just to launch with you the theme of the forum for 2025 and the dates, which is harnessing artificial intelligence for sustainable business practices. I hope that this theme resonates with you and offers opportunities for collaboration, for looking at how we can accelerate how we move forward towards sustainability through collaboration, through working together, and through sharing of best practices, and then learning from organizations and members of the ADSGs that are using artificial intelligence to accelerate their move towards sustainability, and indeed international case studies as well. So if you have any comments or any questions about the forum and the forum theme, by all means, don't hesitate to put them in the chat here and I'll try to answer them. Or if you want to reach out separately afterwards, or you want to reach out to the ADSG, by all means, please do. But that was sort of the spiel around why we are focusing on artificial intelligence for 2025 as a theme, and of course, for collaboration. Now, as per usual, the forum will fall over 2 days. It will be, and please mark your diaries, if I may ask, the 16th and the 17th of April 2025. So it'll be over 2 days, and it will have the traditional layout of having a CEO panel, followed by an economist finance panel, and then with the rest of the workshops and the discussions and the engagement with all the members and the speakers throughout the rest of the day one and then day two. So if we move to the next slide. Yep, there we are. Oh, okay, so we've moved to sponsorship already. Brilliant. Thank you, Mariam. Not that they're rushing me at all. So essentially, there are fantastic opportunities to support the forum if that is something that your organization would like to do. If you want to be associated with such a fantastic event, this is the 9th annual event, so it has a really good track record, and we have had the best of sponsors in the past. Organizations such as Dolphin Energy, such as Etihad Airways, such as ADNEC and Pure Media, and many partners in the past who have sponsored this event. And we wanted to share with you the opportunities that are there. It will help you to position your organization as an innovator regionally and internationally, because we do have a slightly increasing international reach, but also we have a good regional reach in terms of speakers, attendance, and people who show a lot of interest in the forum and the outputs of the forum. It can help push forward innovation because your sponsorship will help the ADSG to reach more people. And it will also allow sponsors to meet and build relationships with key stakeholders and corporate partners. It can help show your achievements and your extensive work on sustainability, in addition to supporting independent debate on sustainability, because this is an independent forum, as you know, and it is formed by the members of the ADSG with inputs from your requests around, from the surveys and from the different meetings. So with the sponsorship benefits being there, if you have any comments or any questions about it, please feel free to reach out. You can download your own copy of the forum sponsorship brochure with much more details. And I'll speak about it a little bit more in the next slide. But there's a QR code on the screen. I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully you can see it. Just point your phone at it and you can download the sponsorship brochure. There are sponsorship packages that are available. So we'll move to the next slide. The packages that are available are lead sponsor, co-sponsor, networking, reception sponsorship, webinar sponsors. We produce a report at the end of every forum that highlights the key outcomes, the discussions, the panels, and so on. That also would appreciate some sponsorship. There's also opportunities to be the forum official airline carrier, as well as hosting the venue for the forum. All of that information is in the package if you download it from the previous page in the QR code. What I did want to say is the great thing is that we have a lot of time until April of next year, which hopefully means that you are able to negotiate a budget within your leadership and with the finance team. Maybe you know you're giving them a bit more time and a lead to enable some funding to be secured. But I think that's it for the forum for now. Yes. And then if you wanted to reach out to the ADSG specifically about those sponsorship opportunities, please contact my colleague, Mr. Mohammed Al-Dahiri. His email is on the screen, or my colleague, Mrs. Mariam Al-Zaabi. Also, her email is on the screen, and I think you probably know them quite well by now. So please feel free to reach out to them and ask for more information or about the process. It's really very straightforward, she says. All right, great. And now I think this is the thing that everybody's been waiting for, which is the 9th Annual Abu Dhabi Sustainable Business Leadership Awards, which will take place on the 15th of April, 2025, with our traditional Better Than the Oscars gala dinner event. You know, put on your best dresses, ladies and gentlemen, put on your best suits and get ready to celebrate sustainability achievements and recognize the hard work of everyone in the group and beyond. So the awards categories are no surprise. They are the 6 categories again: Best Sustainability Initiative, Best Sustainability Report, Sustainability Manager of the Year. You deserve it, guys. Get your nominations in. And Best Sustainability Leader of the Year. This is your chance to recognize your leadership. Please take it. Please submit for your leaders that you see are visionary, who are trying to move the sustainability agenda forward. They could be from your board. They could be your CEO. They could be your chairman, chairwoman. They could be your direct line management or your, you know, team supervisor, whatever it might be, someone that you see committed that shows leadership. So please use that. That is a category that is, I'm going to be honest with you, underused. So please put in nominations for your leadership that you feel need recognition. Then, of course, we have Best Sustainability Communication Program, and we have the Best Energy Management Initiative, which we always run in collaboration with the stakeholder partner, the Energy Institute, which is based in the UK, but they also have a branch in the UAE. If you have any further questions about the awards, please feel free to reach out to my colleagues again in the ADSG or to myself if you like. If you have any questions or any queries, And now the crucial information here are the dates that you need to know. So the submissions will open on the 1st of July. So we're giving you a real heads up now. You've got 3 weeks heads up that this is going to open on the 1st of July. Do some thinking about how and which award categories you want to submit for. Why not all, if you can? And then the award submission will close on the 30th of March. So that's a very generous opening time. There will be the awards, the Abu Dhabi Sustainable Business Leadership Awards booklet, which we will send out. So the booklets and the submission forms will all be circulated by the 1st of July. So we are working on the content right now. It's all been updated, but we want to just review it again and make sure it's all right and in the right places on the website. And then by the 1st of July, you will get a news bulletin. If you're not registered to receive the ADSG news bulletins, please put your email either in the chat, or if you don't want to share it publicly, please contact my colleagues from the ADSG or myself if you like, and tell us that you want to be added to the news bulletin so that you receive all of those updates. So that was it in terms of the awards. So we now want to talk to you about a little bit of a deep dive into the 2 major flagship programs that the ADSG will be launching this year and next year. The first one is looking at natural, social, human capitals for a business. So what does that mean? How do we work on that? The world as we know it has been reinvented many times over. And as we know, the world economy is always changing, you know, and things happen all the time that influence that. And we're currently going through the biggest structural change for the economy in the last 250 years as we go through the 4th industrial revolution. I'm sure you've all heard this before. So not only are we experiencing an economic credit crunch, as you know, some countries have economic stresses at the moment, high inflation, etc., all sorts of other issues. But we're also facing an environmental credit crunch. Yeah. So the traditional economy as we know it, which looks to, you know, constantly create new products for people to consume by paying for them, this is going to change potentially. The premise or the idea out there is that we are now needing to change the economic model because of the fact that there are rapidly diminishing natural resources. Nature is being depleted at a faster rate than we can replenish it, or the planet can and nature can replenish it. So that's why we're delighted to bring this capital, the Capitals Coalition program and flagship, because it'll help us to understand the concept of the impact economy a little bit more, and it'll help us to understand the 4 capitals approach to accounting for nature. I know you all are professionals in sustainability, so none of this is going to be new for you, but we've all been living beyond the environmental limits of our planet for quite a while. This year, Earth Overshoot Day will come on the 25th of July. That's like 5 months faster than the end of the year is coming. That means we're consuming almost half of our budget, and then we have to live the rest of the year in depletion and in degradation of our planet. So that means we're using up the resources of our planet faster than the planet can replenish them, and that is unsustainable. We're living in an era of mass extinction of far too many species and a global population that is increasing, and land degradation has devastated agricultural productivity. Human action continues to undermine biodiversity, and this leads to significant environmental risks. So the Capitals Coalition approach allows us to recognize the economic value of human capital, social capital, natural capital, as well as the produced capital. Yeah, so it's allowing us to take this approach where we can collaborate and we can understand the cost, the value, and how to do that. How do we do this process? How do we use this information to make better decisions as well, to make more informed decisions? And a critical part of this journey is to measure and capture data more accurately, and then share this data through disclosure in a meaningful way that allows us to drive forward to make a positive impact. Yeah. So we look forward to you joining the Capitals Coalition flagship. This is planned to start in Q3. Members of the ADSG are very welcome to join, of course. And if you wanted to know a bit more about the timelines, here's a timeline for the flagships. And I've only spoken about the Capitals Coalition, but I'll come back to CDP very briefly right now. before anybody nudges me for time. So essentially, CDP, as everybody knows, is the Capital Disclosure Project, and they are focused on climate change. This flagship will be focused on advancing carbon pricing strategies. So how do we do that? And this is like aligned to net zero strategies, climate change, but I know that also CDP's work is now linking to nature. So everything that we are doing is hopefully cohesive and works together without any clash. And so the idea is to provide upskilling for members and to allow for people to learn more. As we are changing potentially economies, as we are being told by scientists and economists and financiers, then we need to understand how we adapt to this reality so that we remain sustainable and we remain on topic for future activities and future economies, so that we remain a viable contender and our businesses remain sustainable. So again, for the flagships, if you have any questions, if you want to join, everybody is welcome. Please just reach out to my colleagues, Mariam and Muhammad. They will very happily answer any questions that you have. And more information will come in the news bulletins to come. So finally, I'm being prodded to the ADSG Sustainability e-journal. So as you know, the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Group issues a publication. I'm really proud to say that the journal has received more interest and more widely read in the region. But with your support and with your sharing of the journal, we can reach more people. But having said that, can I just ask a question by raising of hands? Has anyone not seen the e-journal? If you have not seen the e-journal, please raise your hand. Okay, I saw one raised hand. Okay, okay, brilliant. All right, Natalie, thanks. Is there more? So, Mariam, can I ask you to just find out who? Oh, there's quite a few. Natalie, Nuran, Ru'a, Noura, there's a number of people who have raised their hand. So can we share links after this meeting, maybe by next week, with everyone to make sure who has raised their hand here, to make sure that they get a copy of previous issues. They're all saved on the ADSG website, by the way. Feel free to go there and look them up. Having said that, I'm glad that I asked the question, so I think that's informative. The e-journal is coming up and we're working very hard in the background on interviewing really key people to bring insights to you, the members, and more widely to the stakeholders of the ADSG regionally, locally, and internationally. And as we are doing that, we are inviting the contribution of members of the ADSG. So if you would like to share with us some of your sustainability progress, some of the areas that you think others would benefit to learn from, or that you want to share how you did it because maybe someone didn't even think about it. And that's the platform as well, to share this information in between the events and the activities that the ADSG does. If you would like to contribute to the e-journal, please do the QR code trick again with your phone. That will give you my email. So I am the editor of the e-journal and I will be reviewing all of the contributions and I will be giving you guidance or support if you need it. But otherwise, I'm sure that your content will be perfect. We request that you please make sure that your communications departments approve it. Yeah, so make sure that whatever you're sharing with us is corporately approved so that we don't upset anyone. The idea is that we share knowledge and not upset anyone. I believe I have a hand up. Natalie, please.
No, that was for the question about the journal. So I'm just going to lower the hand now.
Okay, brilliant. Any other questions or anything right here? The last thing I'd like to say is thank you so much, Mariam. You shared the link. It's in the chat. If you go in the chat, you'll see where all the previous e-journals are. I think there's no need for an email now. Thank you, Mariam. Technology has beat us again. You've got my email as well in the chat. Feel free to reach out to me for anything. The last thing I'm going to leave you with before I hand over to my wonderful colleague, Mariam, is the deadlines for the e-journal, which are in 2024 for the first issue that's going to come out in 2024. Your deadline is the 30th of June. And then for the second half, of the year, if you can give us your content by the 30th of December. This gives you enough time to do your processes, look at what stories you want to share. We welcome anything, initiatives on reducing waste, initiatives on reducing carbon, initiatives with the community and society, and how you are supporting the community and society in the outreach. So whatever you would like to, feel free to get in touch and we can look at it. And then finally, I think I'm on time, really, honestly, I'm sure I'm on time. The final thing we wanted to share with you is content from the partners of the ADSG, which is the Accounting for Sustainability project, which is supported by His Majesty King Charles. This is the A4S Summit 2024. It's something to put in your diary if you are able to. On the 3rd of July, it's an online event and you can register and join the whole day for free. It's fantastic because it brings together finance and accounting community. Please share it with your finance teams, your CFO, your finance team, your accountants, etc. If they want to learn more about how sustainability and accounting work hand in hand together to make better informed decisions, that will support you. It means you'll get more funding for your work areas, hopefully. But yes, so it's a fantastic event. I'm going to be attending it as well. So I would strongly recommend, I think my colleagues at the ADSG will also be attending it. So I would strongly recommend that you do register. Like I say, registration is free. You've got the QR code right there. And Mariam, thank you so much. There's a link as well in the chat. Amazing. I think unless you have any questions for me, I will hand you over to the capable hands of my charming colleague, Mariam Azabi. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Sandra. It's good to see everyone again and delve into this interesting conversation. So for us now we have, and I would like to present to you the survey outcome. As you know, we have conducted a survey for our ADSG members and stakeholders, and now upon receiving the results, we had the results equally half from members and non-members, which shows the equal amount of engagement in sustainability in Abu Dhabi. And as you can see in the graph on the right, the members organization operates in almost all sectors in Abu Dhabi, including private and non-government organizations. Moving forward, we have here, give me a minute. Okay, so here we have the rating, the organization's current level of engagement in sustainability initiatives have shown that around 85% of members are either very highly involved or highly involved in sustainability initiatives, which is a very positive sign. The outcome when it comes to an organization's dedication to sustainability is shown in whether an organization has a dedicated sustainability department or team. 90% of the participants do have a sustainability department within their team. Now moving forward to select the primary areas of sustainability that an organization is focused on. We have a wide variety of areas portrayed in the organizations. Carbon emission reduction and waste management taking the top results of this chart. We also have organizations who focuses on biodiversity conservation, renewable energy, and social responsibility as well, and other areas of it too. So, as for how frequently an organization reports on its sustainability initiatives and progress, the results vary. But the good thing is that 30% of organizations do report quarterly, while 42% report either semi-annually or annually. And this is great news because we as a sustainability group are always interested to learn and see organizations' sustainability progress and how they are growing throughout the years, and the sustainability initiatives and projects are properly implemented in order to meet the UAE's vision. So we know that organizations' board member engagement is extremely important in decision making within each organization. And here the result shows that 60% of organizations' board members are very involved in this matter when it comes to sustainability strategy and decision making. So here we had a question that highlighted the biggest challenges the organizations faced in implementing sustainability initiatives. And I had to shorten them to 5 key points we found in common from the results. The first one being lack of data and aligned policies, awareness and engagement of top management, financial constraints, cultural and behavioral inertia, and budget constraints. But from my analysis, many comments have given examples of sustainability management from around the world that highlights the challenges that we face today in Abu Dhabi. This is a huge amount of knowledge presented from the survey participants and their willingness to make change and share the best sustainability practices within entities within Abu Dhabi Sustainability Group and apply them within their company's work. So for this next question as well, what support or resources do you believe would be most beneficial for the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Group to enhance your organization's sustainability efforts? Again, I have summarized them into 5 key points. First one being workshop, training and capacity building, alignment and partnership, policy advocacy and regulatory updates, funding and financial support, knowledge sharing and best practices. That also shows a huge amount of knowledge from our survey participants. And now, I believe this is our last question of the survey. We see here the high number of interest from members to participate in collaborative sustainability projects or initiatives facilitated by Abu Dhabi Sustainability Group. So shortly, we will be sharing member sustainability updates and learn about their sustainability initiatives and projects. This is the part that I'm really excited to learn about our members' sustainability updates. First, starting with Mr. Dharar Al-Manasir, who is the Executive Director in the Group's Strategy and Sustainability Department within Abu Dhabi National Exhibition Center. Mr. Dharar, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mariam. Shukran jazeelan, and good afternoon. Good to see the faces and also to see the names of my colleagues. Mariam, you will present the screen. Okay, perfect, great. So in very short period of time, I just want to share with you our a high-level overview of our sustainability strategy and ESG framework. And I noticed in the agenda and invitation, we are referred as ADNEC Exhibition Center, but to be honest with you, this is part of the learning that we are trying to share with the stakeholders, that ADNEC Group as it sits now is much bigger than the center itself. So ADNEC Group now consists of the center in addition to more than 22 other assets. So for example, under the venues cluster by itself, we do have Excel London and we do have Al Ain Convention Center. Under the events, we host more than 400, 500 events, but we have the copyrights and the IP for 7 or 8 profiles, the likes of IDEX, NAVDEX, UMEX, the Abu Dhabi Boat Show, the Government Media Congress, and now in JV partnership, the hunting and equestrian exhibition. So, and also in the future, the Bitcoin, etc., etc. So the portfolio of IPs that we own is also growing. From a hotel's point of view, ADNEC Group owns 4 hotels in UAE and 3 outside. So for example, in London, we have the 2 on-site hotels connected to the venue. And in Abu Dhabi, we have the 2 hotels that are connected to the venue in Abu Dhabi, in addition to another 2 leisure hotels. And for example, no one knows that we are the owner of Qasr Al Sarab Hotel Anantara, or Anantara, for example, Serbanias Island. So what I'm trying to say that the group massively grew during the last period, and the F&B business, for example, we are now the exclusive caterer for Etihad Airways. Our production kitchen are able to produce 150,000 meal per day. And we have contracts with 7 hospitals. We have contracts with the UAE Army. We have contracts with the Ministry of Defense, in addition to the events catering. From a media cluster point of view, people have been living in Abu Dhabi for a while. You remember 2454, the company, media production and ecosystem company. 2454 is now part of ADNEC Group and represent the media cluster. So we have film production capabilities. We have studios here in Musafah and in Kizad. Plus, we own the building that you know in Yas Island, opposite to the Hilton Hotel, which is the Yas Creative Hub. So what I'm trying to say that to cope with this commercial growth, we wanted also to complement this with environmental focus and more sustainability focus. And that's why we felt that the group is big enough to have a sustainability strategy and ESG framework. Since 2021, we shifted our focus to a more comprehensive ESG framework. And in order to build our sustainability strategy, what we did, as you can see in the slide in front of you, first, we looked at very good examples of holding groups similar to us now, commercially driven, investment driven, but also at the same time with a focus on economic impact, like our case in Abu Dhabi. And then after that, we conduct several interviews, surveys, meetings, and workshops with stakeholders, internal and external, in order to complete our materiality assessment, which was a very good exercise to identify those topics that we will focus on, which I will share with you in shortly. According to that, we built our risks and opportunities attached to those material issues, and we were able to formulate for the first time ever a strategy that says what are our priorities when it comes to environment, what are our priorities when it comes to to social element, and what are the priorities when it comes to the governance element. And accordingly, we built for the first time our sustainability strategy map. Let's put it this way. Now, to make this happen and to achieve our targets, we agreed on a certain list of initiatives and a pipeline divided across the coming 10 years in a horizon mode. Of course, while you are doing ESG framework, you have also to speak about the value creation and what are the impact of your process on the whole value chain. And we supported and augmented all of that with a very solid governance process. As you know, we are managed by a board of directors representing the shareholders. So we added sustainability to the agenda of the board of directors. We added sustainability, and when I speak sustainability, I mean in its wider definition, not only the environmental. So we added this to the agenda of the executive committee as well. And we have a chief of strategy and investment who is managing this function, and myself, I'm the executive director of group strategy and sustainability. So even we created a team internally, and soon we will have our ESG manager to help and work with us. So we are, in addition to formulating the plans and to increase the coordination within the clusters that I just mentioned, we created an ESG committee, but also we are creating a team, and we are building a governance process to help us achieve our objectives. Accordingly, the outcome that can be summarized in the slides in front of you, we developed our strategy map highlighting our commitment in creating a long-term value for all our stakeholders. And we want, the way we describe it, we want to be responsible while we are successful. We want to be ethical while we are achieving our objectives, and being responsible and ethical to the people, to the planet, and to our future generations. To structure things, priority number 1 is focusing on the environmental aspect of our focus. Priority number 2, it has an element of the engine of everything happening within ADNEC, which is the people. And priority number 3 is all about the social aspect of what we do, is the communities, the partners, and the relationship with suppliers throughout the value chain, and not only focusing on the business aspect of it, but also on the human and social aspect of it. Priority number 4 is all about better mechanism for managing assets and resources and having the right governance mechanism in place. Below each priority, we were able to identify specific goals in order to be narrower and more focused. So, for example, just for the sake of picking a few ideas, which is aligned with our materiality assessment, and everything here you see on this slide was shaped by the outcome of the materiality assessment. So we have a focus on climate emissions, and that's why we launched a very detailed decarbonization strategy. And for the first time, you can see in our soon to be launched sustainability report, we are speaking in details about the carbon footprint of ADNEC group, and we are speaking about all clusters. All assets are included for the first time. The baseline year will be 2022. This took us data gathering and quality check for the decarbonization project alone. It took us like 6-7 months just to be sure we revisited or we looked at every single invoice, contract, bill, document in order to build our carbon calculator. So energy optimization, now we have an AI-driven project to help us be efficient in running the facility, but also we have a very advanced conversation with EWIC in order to procure clean energy to our facility. So not only we are formulating our objectives, but we are trying also to support this with initiatives and MOUs. I don't know if you have witnessed the news during the Future Energy Summit that happened in April. We signed an MOU with Tadweer, and we signed a contract with a company to convert our exhibition waste into a sustainable product. We call it TerraTile, and we registered TerraTile as a trademark, which is a material that will be used in our exhibition flooring. So we are trying to walk the talk, and we are trying to take things from objectives into execution. So continuing with this mindset, as you can see, I'm highlighting goals under each priority, and those goals will help us to drive initiative, like the examples that I just mentioned, and I will stop mentioning more examples just for the sake of time. How we did this, we looked at the internal environment within ADQ, within the Abu Dhabi, within UAE, and then globally. I'm speaking about strategies, policies, mega trends, benchmarking analysis, guidelines that we have to comply with, requirements, global positive trends that we should adopt, best practice, etc., etc. And of course, we looked at the United Nations SDGs in order to be in terms of high level aligned. Now, how to measure success, as we can see in the following slide, under each priority area, as you can see, these are the 16 material issues that have been selected by our exercise out of 45 topics globally that we have seen. And I will skip how we reached to those material issues, but there was an extensive materiality assessment exercise, as I said quickly, interviews, meetings, workshops, surveys, internal stakeholders, external stakeholders, partners, shareholders, etc., etc. So we mixed everything together and in certain priority matrix with selection criteria and scoring, screening, and filtering until we reach to those material issues. Now we have clarity, which we didn't have before. And we can say under each priority, we know that, for example, under priority 3, ethical sourcing and supply chain is important for us. And that's why, for example, now we are gradually changing our supplier relationships by introducing the ethical sourcing principle. And we are giving a window to our supplier to adapt with. But after that, it will be, as of 2027, it will be compulsory that you will not be eligible to have a relationship with ADNEC if you don't meet those requirements. Now, to be fair with them, we are educating them, we are awareing them, we are sharing with them the best practice, but we are giving them a window to adapt because that change requires change in their value chain, in their contract, in their supply chain. And these are companies that we care about as well. We don't want to harm them. We want to give them a period in order to drive the positive, to adopt the positive change with us and be ready for it. So as of 2027, 2028, we will start implementing those changes. So these are examples, excuse me, for the material issues and how they are converted into initiatives. Of course, we have detailed measures that we report and publish and disclose, but some of the measures that you have in front of you are the key ones that will summarize the success going forward. How to make these things happen? In the next slide, I summarized for you quickly a snapshot of the type of either initiatives or projects that we are launching, or has been there, but we are revisiting, or we are revamping somehow. So as you can see, some of them related to environmental topics, some of them related to social, and some of them related to the governance. It's a comprehensive work, to be honest with you. It covers everything, and the beauty of the era that we live in now, the sustainability topic is much accepted by leadership because it's very easy to quantify benefits. It's very easy to adopt technology to make that saving in energy optimization in a way means less cost and better P&L, better profitability from financial point of view. But from the other angle, it's less carbon emissions. So we can mix these two together. And if we are using, as we are using with Siemens, an AI-driven technology, so it's another good example of adopting technology and having a digital transformation. So now we can link digital transformation with innovation, with sustainability, and put on top of them a dirham sign, which is good news for everybody. I will stop here and thank you very much for this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Virab. ADNEC surely holds an important involvement in Abu Dhabi, and by creating the sustainability strategy map you shared, its growth will be reflected within the company's sustainability work and influencing stakeholders in Abu Dhabi and inspire them to commit long-term in sustainability. So moving forward, I would like Mariam to engage the screen again, please, of the PowerPoint. We could give the floor to Natalie Nawah from ARAMEX.
Thank you, Mariam. It's a pleasure to be connected with you all, and it's really great to hear all of these updates of the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Group and the very detailed yet brief overview of ADNEC's work. So I think that a lot of really important points were raised. I'm just sharing my screen. If you can just let me know if you can kindly see it before we start.
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Okay, so when it comes to sustainability, I'm pleased to share that ARAMEX has been one of the first movers in the region to address the issue of sustainability. Even though the concept of sustainability became known as sustainability and ESG recently, previously it was more CSR community, and obviously the terminology has evolved. But the important thing is that it's for us, it's a philosophy, it's a way of doing business, and that mindset trickled down from the local level and also from the management team. So there was that vision, that oversight that injected that kind of mindset into all of the areas of operations as ARAMEX has scaled up to now reach almost 60 countries in operation. And the way that we look at it is we are local where we exist. And that puts a responsibility to make sure that we are hiring from the local community, hiring local suppliers, enhancing the community where we are operating, and most importantly, recognizing that as an industry, we are part of the supply chain of all the other industries. And we cannot do business without having a negative impact on the environment in specific. And that came, the issue of accountability, of making sure that we are putting that at the forefront and to make sure that we're addressing it very transparently as the landscape has evolved. We also made sure that we are looking at aspirational goals and aligning with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and the United Nations Global Compact principles, and also the Paris Agreement. And we have also challenged ourselves, in spite of our industry, to commit to carbon neutrality by 2030 and having net zero by 2050. And that comes, of course, with a lot of challenges at hand, but we make sure that even, our management team is on board. Our board has oversight on all of the initiatives, similar to what ADNEC is doing as well. So our ESG committee is comprised of the management team. And we also have a chief sustainability officer that reports directly to the management team and the board, so which is really important to make sure that it's a recipe for success in terms of the implementation on the ground of all these strategic initiatives. And, just to go through the different initiatives from a practical point of view, we're going to talk about specific actions that were done on the E, the S, and the G side. As I mentioned, when it comes to the social part, we look at it not just from the community CSR perspective, but we also look inwards, focusing on our human capital to make sure that they're very engaged. They have the culture going on. We involve them in volunteering and coming up with ideas, making sure that we are also adhering to local and internationally known standards in terms of also human rights and women empowerment and diversity. Our DEI strategy is extremely strong, and making sure that also we address all of the potential risks that might come about with modern slavery and anti-corruption as well. And with the governance part, over and above, the structure, we make sure that our quality management systems, our policies are properly implemented and communicated. We have compulsory trainings for employees also to make sure that our code of conduct is understood on an annual basis, and even our supplier code of conduct that also makes sure that taps into the ESG aspect as well. So moving more into detail on the environmental initiatives that we are doing, I'm sure that there's a lot of traction gaining on the fleet electrification and the uptake of electric vehicles, which of course has required a lot of trial and error to make sure that it's for us to make sure that it's going to be commercially feasible, scalable, and of course withstanding the climate, of course, in the UAE specifically. Overall, we have launched 16 EVs, including motorbikes. In Jordan, where we have the regulations permitted the uptake of EVs early on, we have 15% of our fleet as electric vehicles, and we always have ongoing testing with our innovation team on other solutions in different markets as well, such as Australia and South Africa. And then looking at our operations, we look at how we can leverage renewable energy. And so we have generated almost 11 gigawatts of renewable energy through 9 projects across the network, 2 of which are in the UAE. And of course, we keep on expanding that as the technology is permitting us to do so, and to make sure that we are able to meet the requirements. Almost 60% of the warehouse in Dubai is being used from renewable energy, which is a very, very good percentage. And of course, we look forward to scaling that up as well. And within the facility, we use electric forklifts. We focus on energy efficiency. We have, of course, the certifications that are really important to make sure that we are compliant with the ISO 14001 and LEED certifications. Dealing with the recyclers, even though we are a service industry, we do recognize that, for example, our main product, let's say the tangible product, is the pouches, that they are also environmentally friendly. And since 2007, they were made out of a degradable material. And actually in Dubai, we're very proud that we have 3 STP plants. So we use the water for irrigation in our facilities. Some of our recent initiatives in specific were the introduction of biofuel to replace diesel. So we have adopted that. We piloted that with one client, and now with another client that will be implemented. So that will help us with the UAE and GCC cross-border activities, and that should reduce. Again, it's a win-win. So to be honest with you, starting this conversation back in 2009 with the management, it was a very lengthy conversation to sell the concept. But now, as the landscape has evolved, and as Dirar also mentioned, it becomes a no-brainer because it is achieving the shared value. So we have the dollar signs, we have the emission reduction that go hand in hand with the evidence. So here we have a 4.4 reduction in emissions for this route through this initiative. And also when it comes to EVs, trucks are always harder to find than motorbikes and vehicles, but we are launching, we've managed to test successfully one EV truck that will be used to transport shipments from Jabal Ali and to Abu Dhabi. And again, the challenge of being a global company is sometimes you take the best practices and try to scale it in different markets, but also there are some constraints. So for example, in Egypt specifically, we see that shifting to EVs might not be practical at the time. That it's a bit behind in terms of that introduction. However, as a cleaner option, we do have CNG vehicles, for example. And as mentioned here, that we just summarize the EV bikes that we've introduced, the electric forklifts, and the degradable plastic pouches since 2008. We also have we also test drones and bot deliveries in certain markets in the KSA and also in the UAE. And we even look to work with our supply chain, specifically the airlines, because at the end of the day, for us, they are one of our major suppliers. So we don't own our fleet. However, we do have a responsibility to work with them to see how we can mitigate our environmental impact. And we joined a pilot with the Air France KLM in 2021. However, of course, even though it was only 5% of the SAF for these routes, that I believe will still take some time, and we're ongoing. We continue, of course, exploring what options will be available for the airline industry as well. When it comes to the social part, as I mentioned, we definitely focus on our employees. There's a lot of focus on, continuous development of leaders within of course, the ARAMEX, the family, to make sure that they have the right access to upskilling, capacity building. And then from there, of course, they're able to contribute back to the community. So we do a lot of youth education and empowerment. We do support youth in upskilling them. They are better equipped and understand what the job market requires, and in specific, of course, in the transportation and logistics sector. We do focus a lot on a partnership approach to make sure that in the countries where we operate, what are the major focus areas, for example, in certain areas where we see that we can leverage our logistical capabilities for community development initiatives. Of course, emergency relief is something that we always make sure that we are the first movers in any place where that's needed.
Just to make you aware of the time.
Sure. I'm just going to wrap up quickly. Again, we focused a lot on the social partnerships. So we also have collaborations with the UAE Crescent. And it's very important, again, just like we do with the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Group, we're part of the UAE Climate Alliance. And it's very important to continue having these conversations across industries to leverage on successes as well, to make that scalable. And on the G side, as Mr. Dirar has mentioned, also the reporting is really important. It keeps us accountable and transparent with all stakeholders. So we continue evolving our reporting to make sure that we are, adhering to certain standards. Now with the IFRS requirement emerging, that's something that we're going to be working on and hopefully launching in the next reporting cycle. And of course, as the awareness of even investors has increased on the responsibility of companies, we are also involved in ESG ranking agencies as well, and we were successful in making it to the top 10 in the Middle East, and have also introduced a maturity model in collaboration with Dubai Sustainability Finance Working Groups. I'll invite you to maybe look at that self-assessment. I'll drop the link also in the chat box. That will help us see where we are as a company. Any company is invited to do so, hopefully to be able to share that experience with the rest. So thank you so much for listening, and we look forward to your feedback as well.
Thank you so much, Natalie. Surely applying the sustainable development goals within ARAMEX, and it's exciting to see the involvement of electric vehicles and using renewable energy as a sustainable method of energy use. Now, moving forward to our next, we have here Khulud bin Mahfoud from Cleveland Clinic, Abu Dhabi.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I'll just share my screen. Okay, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'll go ahead. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Khulud, and I am a performance improvement professional from Cleveland Clinic. And today, on behalf of Cleveland Clinic Abu Dhabi, I'll be discussing the role of environmental sustainability in healthcare. We will cover CCAD's sustainable initiatives, achievements, and future plans. So to start off, our hospital is a 396-bed facility. expandable to 490 beds. The design is heavily influenced by local customs and culture, both functionally and aesthetically. Our basis of design include standards from DOH, IBC, NFPA, AIA guidelines for healthcare facilities, and the US Green Building Council. Now, moving on to our framework. At CCAD, we have a robust governance framework for sustainability. The Sustainability Committee and the Leadership Council, they play key roles, and we have multidisciplinary approach involving various departments like facilities operations, clinical operations, and supply chain. We also have over 40 green champions from different departments that support in driving our initiatives. Now, let's look at our emission source. We have 3 different scopes. So scope 1 is direct emissions, such as diesel consumption in boilers and fuel for fleet vehicles. They contribute to 9.7% of our emissions. Our indirect emissions, which is scope 2, they come from district cooling and purchased electricity, making up 86.8% of our emission. And our final scope, which is organizational activities, which is scope 3, it contributes to 3.5% of our emissions, and they include business travel, waste management, water consumption, and so on. Now, in 2023, electricity usage accounted for 41% of our emissions, cooling for 45.6%, and other sources like boilers and natural gas for the remaining percentage. This detailed breakdown really helps us target specific areas for improvement. Now we've made significant strides in reducing our environmental impacts, such as eliminating dysfluorine in anesthesia, and this has reduced our emission by 21.6 tons of CO2 equivalent. Also, usage of natural gas in fleet buses, which also saved 193.8 tons of CO2 equivalent. And using AC condensate water has also contributed to our sustainability efforts. Overall, each initiative really reduced our emission by a certain ton of CO2 equivalent. Now, moving to looking ahead, what plans do we have? We have plans from 2023 until 2025 and future strategy extending to 2023. Key initiatives include BTU submetering, solar water accumulators, and energy monitoring. We aim to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050 by continuing these and other measures. Water conservation. Water conservation is another critical focus area. We try to use 85% of non-potable water for irrigation. We have linked the decommissioned gray water tank into existing irrigation system. Also, by planting native and drought-tolerant species and plants, and using soil conditioners, we've significantly reduced our water usage, and that has helped a lot. Moving on to our lighting control measures, they include sensor activation, time control dimming, and photocell control for outdoor lighting. And we've transitioned to LED lights and illuminated mercury lamps, significantly reducing our energy consumption. Our HVAC system. We are optimized with the VAV optimization, occupancy-based control, and monitoring-based software. We've installed BTU meters and upgraded fan arrays, contributing to more efficient energy use. Now, innovation plays a crucial role in our sustainability efforts. Innovations include such as carpooling app. We are soon, I believe next week, we're launching an app where caregivers, our employees, they can carpool together. So you have an application where you register as a rider or a driver, and then you see whoever is on the way, you get linked to them, and then they pass by you or you pass by them, and you basically carpool together to work, which is really cool. We also recycle our hangers. We have charging stations for our electric vehicles. We also use recyclable pharmacy bags, and we use or we follow green policy, green clean policy to minimize environmental impacts. And we always support local purchasing. Finally, our efforts have been recognized with several awards, such as LEED Gold certification for our new oncology building and prayer hall, Arab Hospitals Federation Gold Initiative certificate, International Hospital Federation Award in 2023, and many more. We also try to actively participate in community engagements activities such as COP28 and the UAE Alliance for Climate Change. Lastly, energy management program. So our Energy Star score has improved drastically throughout the years. We are currently at 50 and we are performing better than 50% of similar buildings in the US, which we are very proud of. That's it. So to summarize, our hospital is committed to environmental sustainability through comprehensive strategies and initiatives, and we've made significant progress and have ambitious plans for the future. Thank you for your time and attention, and if you have any questions, please feel free. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Khulud. It's very fascinating to see the monitoring strategy and the sources of emissions from CCAD in order to follow a reduction of impact in the future. Wishing you guys all the best.
It's our pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, Miriam.
Now, moving forward, we have Nouran Saif al-Nasr Mahmoud from the Department of Culture and Tourism, who's a tourism policy lead in the Tourism Sector Management Office. Nouran, you have the floor now for you to start.
Thank you, Mariam. I'm putting up some slides as well. Please let me know when you see them.
Okay.
Yeah, clear? Okay, perfect.
We do want to make sure we are on time so others can.
Sure. I'll be brief. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk a bit about what we do at DCT Abu Dhabi when it comes to sustainability. Actually, I'm sure all of you are familiar with the mandate of DCT. We're quite a big organization and we manage a lot of assets. So as Dalal was mentioning earlier, there's so much that is under the management of DCT. And I'm not going to talk about all of this today. For a change, I'm not going to talk about what we as an organization do for us as DCT, as a government department in terms of ESG. We do have sustainability strategies and we do have the reporting in place and everything. However, I want to talk about what initiatives that we work on with our stakeholders. So I'm going to talk a bit about, from the tourism sector perspective, what we do with the tourism and hospitality establishments in Abu Dhabi, so sort of to give you a different outlook on how we work with the industry that we regulate and manage. So just to give a very brief overview of our journey so far, merging the tourism sector and sustainability. We started in 2019, 2020 to establish our first sustainable tourism strategy or framework to address the common challenges. We've worked with the industry quite extensively at the time. However, a lot of these initiatives, unfortunately, could not be implemented due to COVID. So after we all came back to the offices and after we sort of opened up again from the lockdown, the tourism industry was very heavily hit by COVID. We did a post-COVID refresh and we wanted to review our approach to sustainability and ESG. So in January 2023, we launched our DCT Sustainable Tourism Strategy, where we looked, as all other organizations, at the UN SDGs, we looked at the UAE commitments, and we looked at the UAE and the Abu Dhabi strategies when it comes to sustainability and net zero. And we came up with a lot of initiatives that we wanted to introduce, and we wanted to work with our stakeholders in order to advance the Emirates sustainability agenda, especially as a tourist destination. And a lot has happened since then. I'm going to highlight a few key initiatives today. If you want any more details about them, please feel free to reach out. From the conversation, I already see that they'll be quite relevant to a lot of members in this group. Last year, in June 2023, we published our Sustainable Tourism Guidelines, which are resources that we put out for the industry. They are free to use. They're public documents that we put out. They're not mandatory yet. They're just guidelines on best practices for how all businesses within the tourism value chain can adopt sustainable tourism practices in their operations and in their customer service as well. We all know that, unfortunately, the hospitality industry is an industry with rather a bad reputation when it comes to sustainability. We're quite wasteful and we're very mindful of that. So we try a lot with our industry to sort of shift that narrative and to actually become more and more sustainable over time. So these guidelines, they do not just target hotels. So there's hotels there, the cultural sites, there are events, there are really everything that falls under the tourism, the hospitality umbrella. We have published a guideline for, and we develop these guidelines and roll them out in close collaboration with the industry and with our stakeholders. We also worked a lot in 2023 with our stakeholders to assess their energy management practices. So we actually financed and we have conducted an energy walkthrough audit for all 172 hotels that are currently licensed in Abu Dhabi. And we produced a report for each one of them. So every single hotel has a report and we send them all out by the end of last year that tells each hotel where their energy saving measures can bring them a lot of value, where they can be more energy efficient, how they can finance this, what are the energy saving companies that they can work with in order to implement these changes. And on the back of that, we're actually going to have a retrofit seminar in the summer this year, where we would bring all of the hotels together, along with the banks, along with the ESCOs, along with the consultants, to have everyone in one room and talk a bit about these best practices, some of these findings of these reports, but also try and raise awareness in the industry and how you can retrofit your hotels without disrupting your operations, but how you can retrofit your building for it to be more energy efficient so that you can reduce your consumption and your carbon footprint as a result. And on that note, I will conclude this slide with talking about an initiative that we're very proud of at DCT that we just launched last month, which is our very own carbon calculator for the hotel industry. We designed and built a custom tool for the hospitality industry in Abu Dhabi in collaboration with government stakeholders here in Abu Dhabi, but also with the hotel industry. We really designed it for them. So it's a digital platform that all hotels are now onboarded to. They all have their profiles, they log in, and they can see their monthly carbon footprint based on scope 1 and 2 emissions. So we've collaborated with utilities. We get their data automatically when it comes to electricity and water consumption, and hotels, they go in and they upload their invoices for fuel, for gas, for district cooling, and so on and so forth. And what we do with this data is that we convert them into the carbon footprint of the hotels, and each hotel can see where are the areas where they can be more efficient, where are the areas that they can target, similar to what Khulud was saying about what they've done at Cleveland when they saw the data, what the data was telling them, where they can be more energy efficient. And we're giving the hotels this insight as well. And also for us as DCT, of course, it's a wonderful tool because it gives us an idea of the carbon footprint of the hotel industry at large. We can see which regions are doing better, which hotels are doing better, and which hotels are also not doing so well, so they need support or they need maybe to learn from the other good performers, let's say, in the industry. Another initiative that I want to talk about very, very briefly that we also recently launched is a sustainability committee. So similar to this platform that we have today, we have a similar platform with the hotels. We launched a sustainability committee late last year, and it has been a huge success. So we get together with the hotels every month or at least once a quarter. We have hotels representing over 30% of the hotels in the Abu Dhabi Emirate. People, they come in from the hotels, they either share their challenges when it comes to sustainability. They, for example, have an initiative that maybe they cannot fund, or they face challenges in the supply chain. They bring it up to the group, and then the hotels really work amazingly together, either to find common solutions, or they raise this challenge to us, and then we work with other government entities in order to bridge that gap between the challenge that they're facing and how they can become more sustainable. And so far, for example, we have invited Tadweer, we have invited ADSG, we have invited NEMA. We have worked with a lot of government entities in order to bring best practices when it comes to waste management, when it comes to food waste and food waste reduction, food safety in hotel establishments. How can they address these challenges and how they can overcome them as well? And we're working constantly through this committee with the hotel industry on setting reduction targets for energy consumption, as I said, but also for waste management to sort of help the industry and work hand in hand with the industry to achieve their sustainability agenda and their sustainability goals as well. I have more details, but I'm conscious of the time, so I'm going to stop here. But I can share these slides with the group, and if there's anything in particular about these initiatives that I talked about that anyone is interested in, please feel free to reach out. I'd be more than happy to provide more details as required. Thank you, Mariam, for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much, Nouran. DCT's sustainability framework in addressing common challenges to the implementing sustainable tourism can tell us the key initiative DCT is doing, and we can learn from it and benefit from it too, and ensure sustainable hospitality in Abu Dhabi. Moving forward, we have Mohammed Ahmed Al Ansari, Head of Environmental Management and Services from Nawah Energy Company. Mohammed, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mariam. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm not sure if we're okay with the time, a bit behind schedule. So how many minutes do I have?
I believe we can run over a little bit because we also have TAQA, and I think it's fair to give equal chance
Time
for
share.
yes, yeah. If
Sure.
if it's okay for everybody, we will probably run over 10 to 15 minutes extra.
Sure. No worries. Can you tell me if you can see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm just sharing it. Okay, so this is Mohammed Al Ansari, Head of Environmental Management and Services from actually Emirates Nuclear Energy Corporation, and we have the operating entity is Nawah Energy Company. So I'll be taking you to a different venue, still within the same umbrella of sustainability, but let me take you underwater a little bit. So I'll keep it really very brief. So I'll walk you through 3 of our environmental initiatives, and due to our nature of business, which is quite different from the oil and gas industry, our main pollutant is actually heat. So this heat will be impacting the marine life, and for that, we'll be focusing on corals for this instant. So first is the coral propagation. So we have initiated a scientific research program for 3 years in cooperation with Zayed University with the aim to restore the corals that we are impacting. So this was a 3 years program, and we are attempted to reproduce them in the laboratory that has been set inside Zayed University. So we established a medium. Unfortunately, this initiative did not succeed. It is quite a complex procedure, and there has been a lot of studies on that. So often, the main project would be for coral restoration is to establish the nurseries in the water, but this was an attempt to have these corals propagated in the laboratories. So they start with the egg spawning, and then once you get that, you put them onto the colony plugs. But then as they grow, they've died. But then this was the first attempt, and this was followed with a second initiative that we have, which is the coral translocation project. So as you can see from the screen, we have our intake channel on the left side, and then we have the discharge channel towards the right. So we have corals, patch reefs, we have the fringing reefs. So not to dwell on this for long, but this was a 4 years project launched and in cooperation with coral experts from the Environmental Agency of Abu Dhabi. We aim to translocate these corals away from the thermal bloom pathway towards safer places where waters are much more cooler. So we transferred more than 7,000 coral colonies, including 11 different species, and we have launched a monitoring surveys, a total of 6 surveys with the reports, and we've also aimed at the different 11 species in our waters. So based on that, this initiative was partially successful. Just to share with you some facts about the corals, that at the seawater temperature, when it reaches 36.5 degrees, this is when the corals start to bleach. But depending on the species and the resilience, there will be a time duration for these corals to withstand that heat. So luckily, a significant number of these corals have survived, and the environmental agency is actually collecting samples in order to invest furthermore to invest in further coral restorations around Abu Dhabi waters. And this was one of the main challenges here, basically, was the climate change factor, because in the past 10 years, we have noticed multiple bleaching events. So this project has been concluded for the time being. However, we're looking further towards creating a story. So for those corals that survived, we'll be also working on establishing our own coral nurseries, and we'll be working further to have more of the coral restorations in cooperation with the environmental agency. Just to give you a quick idea to visualize how the process goes. So of course, we'll be selecting the appropriate sites, and we have the pre-survey findings. And then we'll be selecting the healthy corals and the ones that are more resilient. And then we will be breaking them into fragments, pasting them, labeling them. And then, of course, the periodic monitoring activities will be held for that. So moving to the next third initiative is the sea turtle rescue initiative. So the corals actually are habitats for many marine species, including these turtles. We have the hawksbills, we have the green turtles, and it is also our obligation to provide support for these turtles. Now, these turtles are really impacted by the difference in temperature, especially moving from different season to season. So starting from November all the way down towards May, due to the different temperature shock that impacts the turtles, they get distressed. And for that, we have launched a rescue initiative in 2019 in collaboration with the environmental agency. And we've issued a rescue and handling protocol where we managed to rescue around 185 turtles. And this is done through our daily patrols around our waters using boats, and also the walk downs at our water intake structure. We also have set up a holding station at our site to provide the essential needed care for the turtles prior to transporting them to EAD and the National Aquarium for rehabilitation. And the corals really are important because they provide habitats for many, many marine species. So it is essential to protect them, to maintain these ecosystems, and it's noteworthy that 1 billion people really benefit from the ecosystem services provided from these corals. And even economically speaking, they drive and generate around $2.7 trillion per year, so boosting business and economy. And by referring to the Sustainable Development Goals, this really is focusing on goal number 14, which is a life below water. So I just wanted to walk you through something maybe a bit different. So I believe these are the three initiatives I'd like to share. Last week, we had the Environmental Agency of Abu Dhabi's annual sea turtle release held. It was a very successful event. So I believe I can conclude here, Mariam, and hopefully next time I'll be sharing more about ESG initiatives. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mohammed. Coral restoration surely helps preserve our biodiversity and the ecological balance it sustains. We know that climate change is increasing bleaching events, and hopefully in the future, you can find healthy, resilient corals that can succeed in our waters and ensure biodiversity. Moving forward, we have from TAQA, Roa Al-Bizri, who is a sustainability manager. Roa, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mariam. I'll keep this brief as I know a lot of people need to drop off, but my name is Roa Bizri. I'm a sustainability manager at TAQA. Mariam, do you have the slides or should I share?
I would love if you could share them for us, please. You can take control.
Okay. Apologies.
Perfect.
Just for those who don't know, TAQA is one of the largest integrated utilities and energy groups in the Middle East and in the Middle East, Africa. So we have three businesses cutting across generation of power and water, as well as transmission and distribution of power and water. And we have as well an oil and gas business largely outside of the UAE, or it is outside of the UAE. One thing to keep in mind is we are a global company, so we are present in over 24 countries. We are currently at 52% renewables capacity, and we're looking to increase that over the next few years. So as you can see in this slide, TAQA's corporate strategy is largely focused on optimization and growth. However, as you can see, ESG is a core pillar within this strategy, and sustainability has become core to the DNA of TAQA, with our vision to become a provider of clean power and water to governments and businesses and consumers. And as you can see to the right of the screen, our key 2030 targets also largely revolve around sustainability metrics related to expanding renewable energy, generating water largely through reverse osmosis, which is less energy intensive. And we've committed to spending a capex of over AED 75 billion, of which over 80% is related to the energy transition. And directly related to our corporate strategy is our ESG strategy. So in 2022, TAQA announced our ESG strategy with key focus topics, which you can see here on the screen. The 6 focus topics being climate change, water and effluence, occupational health and safety, diversity and equal opportunity, local community engagement or CSR, as well as corporate governance. So meaning that in the next few years, we will focus on achieving some of the targets listed underneath each of these focus topics. However, the material topics related to TAQA vary across many other topics, which we detail in our sustainability report. And then to support achievement of our ESG pillars and our ambitions, we created or established an ESG operating model, with ESG now being embedded in the organization, all the way from board sustainability committees to having an established ESG team. We have active stakeholder engagement on ESG matters. We have a capital allocation framework through which we take ESG issues into consideration in investment decisions. And ESG has become a core metric in the group scorecard or KPI. So over the last few years, TAQA has really made significant improvements across several ESG dimensions. I won't go through each and every one of those, but this is just to show some of the improvements we've made and have communicated in our latest 2023 sustainability report, which is our 4th sustainability report. And some of the key improvements made, which is worth mentioning, I guess, are the greenhouse gas emissions. We are one of the only companies in the region who have communicated an absolute target and are showing a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions on a year-on-year basis. And we've also reported on our Scope 3 emissions in our latest report. The improvements we've made are showcased across ESG rating agencies, which are recognizing these improvements across the pillars. And similar to other companies that have presented today, diversity and equal opportunity is important, and we're looking to have 30% women in management positions by 2030. Last but not least, these are some of the select projects that TAQA has been working on, enabling the decarbonization not only of our operations, but also of our partners. I won't go through the details of this, just mindful of time, but it's also worth mentioning that we've developed a green finance framework. We've issued our first $1 billion green bond to support renewable energy projects, and we strive to continue our efforts in decarbonization and supporting other companies in the region towards achieving net zero by 2050. Happy to chat with anyone at any time in this chat. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Roa. Having 52% of renewable capacity is a great example for us to follow and use clean energy within our companies. Thank you so much, and we look forward for more in the future. And now we have the Q&A. If anyone has any questions, you could drop them in the chat box. And furthermore, if you would like to hear more or discuss any particular topic, have a suggestion, we would like to hear that from you. And here is the QR code, which would give you easy access for you to do so. Does anyone have any question or would like to add any comment from your side? Okay, so now that we're coming to the conclusion of our members meeting, we would like to wish you all further ahead Eid Mubarak and happy holidays as well. Ada, if you would like to say anything.
Thank you, Mariam. And I would like also at the end to take this opportunity and to wish everyone Eid Adha Mubarak, inshallah. Again, thank you so much for all participation. I think we need more time to in our next meetings to hear and learn from members' great efforts and updates. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for your time today, and looking forward for our members' next meeting. And we'll make sure that we have good time for all these great presentations and updates from members. Shukran.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you for those who participated, and hopefully next time we could have more time for others to share their sustainability updates as well.
Thank you all. It was amazing today. Thank you.
Thank you.
دكتورة نشوى، hello. دكتورة نشوى منورة.